Hi and welcome to another 5 minutes tutorial, and this time about the shader called translucent. Translucent you will use when you have a thin surface like a leaf or a thin paper and want the light that are behind the leaf or the paper to light through or lit through the surface, so you can see the light from behind through the paper or through the leaf. And right now I use the principal BSDF, and I just have a simple texture where I take the color to the base color and the alpha to the alpha. The light comes from 3 different sources, so we have some HDRI. I also have a sun, which is this one, and I have some backlight, which you can see if I take off the camera, it's easier to work with. Then we have the backlight here that shines from behind through the leaf. If I now turn off the backlight, you see no difference. So right now it doesn't matter if I have a backlight or not, because it doesn't shine through the leaf. However, if I take away the sun, you can see it gets a lot darker. So right now the sun has some influence, but the backlight do nothing. We should change that by using the translucent. So if I take away the principal and just add a translucent, and I press Shift A, go to shader, and I select the translucent here and take the color to the color, and I take the BSDF to the surface, and now I get my leaf here. I would like to take away the alpha as well, and I can do that with a mixed shader and transparent. So Shift A, shader, mix shader, put that in here, and then I can take the alpha to the factor, and we can take down this translucent, and in the top one we can add a transparent shader. So Shift A, shader, and we go to transparent shader, put that to the top. So now we are back again. However, now we are only using translucent if it's not transparent. So if I now turn off the backlight, you can see it gets almost dark. If I turn off the sun, you see no difference. So even if I go to the sun here and change that to a strength of 10 or strength of 100 or 1000, you will see no difference. Because when you're using the translucent, I can put that back to 3. When you're using translucent, then it only cares about the light that comes from behind. So the backlight goes through and goes really much through this. So I have 200 watts here, but it still shines really bright through this leaf here. And if I take it to 10, you will see that it still lights up just a little bit, and if I take 30, you can see it lights a bit more, and so on. So you don't have to have that big amount of power on the backlight when you're using the translucent. However, you need something more to catch the sunlight as well. So you need to do a mix of the translucent and some principal, or using diffuse. So you can press Shift A, and here you can select either the diffuse or the normal principal if you want to use that. So if I put that here and put a mix shader between these, I can copy this one, just Shift D, and do like this, and take the base color and color to this leaf here, so we get some color into the principal as well. Then you can see now, if I take away the sun and turn off the sun, you get some difference here. And that is because we now use the principal as well. How much of a difference that we control with the mix shader. So if you put this to 1, then everything is just about the principal here, which means that if I take off the sun, it gets dark, and if I take it on, it gets bright, and the backlight doesn't do anything. However, if I then take it to the half about, then both of the backlight and the sun will contribute. Normally it could be that you would like to use more of the principal but still have some translucent that comes from the back. So the main thing when we're using translucent, or we can say it's at least two things to have in mind. One is you should always use it just on thin surfaces like leaves, for instance, and you should always mix it with some surface shader like the principal or the diffuse shader to catch the light that comes from the front as well. But if you mix it with this, so you have some translucent and some diffuse, you can get a really nice dreamy looking result if you have like bushes and trees and nature and so on. So it's a really powerful shader, but it should never be used alone. Okay, so hopefully you learned something about translucent as well. And as usual, I just say bye for now and see you tomorrow.